Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Oxford United Road to Glory career mode. Yes, it is once again a pre-recorded episode because, lads, I really want to wrap up this season as quickly as I can. As you can see here, we're in 8th place at the moment. We are 6 points off Newcastle in 7th, even though that doesn't really matter because we have the Conference League place. Because, of course, just as a nice reminder, we did win the League Cup in the last episode, 3-0 against Chelsea. So we know for a fact that European football will be sealed next season. There is still an outside chance of Europa League. Obviously, 5th would guarantee that, 6th possibly, depending on the cup winners. But we are, 11 points behind Chelsea, and we are 13 points behind Arsenal. So it's improbable, but it's not impossible. Top 4, I think that would be a bit of a stretch, even though Spurs are actually on 47 points. United are running away with third and with 55 points, only 4 points behind first place Liverpool. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get through a lot of these games here. So as you can see, some big games coming up: Tottenham, Newcastle and Sheffield. Sheffield United mightn't sound like a big game on paper, but they are just below us in the league in 9th place. So I'm going to play the highlights. I'm going to play these games and I'm going to post the highlights afterwards. So as I said, we've got 13 games left, so we'll get through a good chunk of them in this episode, and maybe the last few here we'll do in the next episode. So yeah, listen, without further ado, let's get into this Tottenham game. I'm going to play it in full, off camera, and then I will show you the highlights afterwards, and obviously tell you what the score was as well and stuff. I mean, why wouldn't I? That was a stupid thing to say. But anyways, I will go ahead and play that game, but you will see me again in a matter of moments. And here we are a matter of moments later after playing the game against Tottenham Hotspurs. Lads, what a game. What a game. We had the better first half, in my opinion. After 33 minutes, Rhino, the legend himself, ran through their defence. Their defence was an absolute no man's land. Buried that into the top corner, right in front of the Oxford United faithful, getting another gore. And it got us off to a pretty good start. But speaking of pretty good starts, Tottenham, first attack of the second half, Son makes a pretty similar run and blasts it past Gavin Bazunu. Then Tottenham were just absolutely all over us. We go into the next highlight here. Hložek, I should say, ran completely through, put it past Bazunu. At this stage, I thought the floodgates were about to open. Bazunu probably committed himself a little bit too early there, but it is a good finish from their talisman. This is where I thought it was game, set and match. Flynn went to slide in on Hložek, did slide in, but ended up taking the man and none of the ball, and we gave away a penalty. For some reason, it's not showing the highlight here, but Gavin Bazunu did save the penalty from, I believe, Brennan Johnson, but it's not this one here. This is a different one, never mind. Rhino, though, from the next attack, after saving that penalty, went on another surging run himself and put it in for 2-2. That was the final score, even though he should have had his hat-trick. Oh, look at this. Tried to get round the keeper. Vicario kept his position well, and we ended up beating the keeper and the post. That angle's heartbreaking. What a game it would have been to win. It would have been a hat-trick for him. It would have got him up to 11 league goals for the season. But whatever, it is what it is. We share the points at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and now we move on to play Newcastle at St James's Park. So here we are a little bit earlier than expected. Newcastle were absolutely fucking battering me. I made a few changes. I think I might actually be able to show you here. We put Bloom at left back because Eric complained about being taken off in the last game when he played shite. Doaka gave a chance as well. Didn't really work out. He's nowhere near as good as Goodrum. It was 4-0 in the first half. I know we came from 4-0 down against Tottenham, but it was not happening here, let's just say that. Brannigan also came in as well for Costa, so I just jumped to result. 5-2 is the final score. Yeah, I don't think Europa League is going to be within our grasp this season at least, but hey-ho, we move on. Sheffield United up next. Let's see what happens there. And the Sheffield game went completely to plan. Now, from what I can see here, I don't know if it actually saved all the highlights, but we'll go through them in the order of which they are in here. So we did take the lead through Diao. Brilliant run here. Made a couple of changes as well in this game just to keep it fresh, but he put us 1-0 up. He's been in very good form in this episode. Lovely finish there into that bottom right-hand corner. We then doubled our lead through Aaron Connolly. He requested to start this game, and I went, you know what? I don't know how much longer we're going to have him. So let's put him in the team. He rolled that ball past Olsen as well into the very same corner. Connolly, I tell you what, I'm still in two minds about whether I keep him, whether I sell him. It's not that I want to sell him because I don't like using him. I just don't know if he's going to want to be a backup player for the rest of this series. That's all that I'm thinking about there when it comes to Aaron Connolly. Bazunu apparently made a save here, but I'm not going to lie. I can't remember this, but let's have a look at it anyway. I do remember this now. Good acrobatics there by Bazunu, who's now up to 80 rated as well in this team, which is really, really good. I knew he'd be a good signing, but I think he's even doing a little bit better than what I was expecting. Made himself really big there. Peter Schmeichel-esque. Will Holmes then we brought off the bench. It wouldn't be an Oxford United Road to Glory episode without a Will Holmes goal. He did really well there to make it 3-0. And actually, I think all the goals... Never mind, all the goals are here. For some reason, I didn't think they were. Will Holmes then showing how unselfish he can be. A great ball by Rhino. Holmes got in, but still squared it to Rhino, who gets another gore. That made it 4-0 here at Bramall Lane. And then Diao, he wasn't finished either. We moved him onto the right-hand side. Rhino with another assist. Lovely finish there by Diao. That made it 5. And then Will Holmes, well actually before we look at that, Bazunu actually did make another really good save. Didn't have a lot to do in this game, but when called upon, he answered it. And then Will Holmes should have had a second one. He was clean through here. Ran through their defence. But Olsen, in fairness, made a really good save. But it was a 5-0 win, back to winning ways, the perfect way to respond to getting battered by Newcastle. Let's move on into the next game. We decided to play the highlights here against Leicester. Not an awful lot happening. Goodrum got the first attack here, got beyond the defence, smacked it past the keeper, and that was 1-0. Then the second goal for me was a bit more pleasing on the eye. Diao was in, cleared away, Rhino chests it, buries it into that bottom right-hand corner, bottom left-hand corner of the keeper. Look at this again. An excellent gore. That angle. Oh, absolutely fantastic. Zidane-esque. But it did give us a 2-0 win against Leicester, who look like they might be going down. So it's a game you'd expect us to win, but still, football isn't played on paper. You have to get the job done. And we did. And now we move on into a big game against the Gunners, Arsenal. So we just got a Youth Academy scout report, which I wasn't initially going to show you in this episode unless somebody brilliant came up. And look at this guy here, Jeroen Simon, or Simon, however you want to say it. Pretty sure it's Simon when they're from the Netherlands, but whatever. We'll figure that out afterwards. 17 years old, potential of 69 to 94, right midfielder, but he's already 67 rated. Now, I think I might convert this guy to a cam. Let's see how long that will take. Hopefully not too long. 2 weeks, brilliant stuff, because I think we're okay for wingers. I think we've got plenty of them in the squad, but we probably will need a new attacking midfielder because Bouchard wants to leave. And why not promote from within? Let's see if it gives him any growth. We'll check in before the end of the episode, and we might just promote him, give him some game time in this episode as well, and he could be the perfect replacement for Bouchard. So yeah, just thought I'd show you that before we get into the game against Arsenal. This game as well, and let's just say it was really, really frustrating. So we didn't really have an awful lot of highlights in the first half, nothing of note anyway. Bouchard came on, brilliant ball in for Rhino, who gets another gore. That put us 1-0 up. I was in absolute fucking heaven watching this. Bouchard giving me something to think about. He's put in a transfer request, but I wouldn't mind keeping him as well. But I just don't know if it's going to be possible to hold on to him. But that was 1-0. Literally, the next attack, right? This wasn't the next attack. But this was the same attack they'd just had before, where we had a brilliant bit of defending. It hasn't saved it as a highlight. Then they gave them the exact same chance again, which they were able to score. And that did mean that we drew 1-1 with Arsenal. So really frustrating because we actually had the majority of the highlights, even though not a lot happened in them. But whatever, that's Arsenal done. Games don't get any bloody easier, because now we must play Manchester City. We came so close to winning this game, it's not even funny. I mean, I got worried right from the get-go because Man City started out the game nearly going 1-0 up. Phil Foden running right through, but Gavin Bazunu, former Manchester City goalkeeper, with a brilliant save at the near post. Will Holmes then had a chance to put us 1-0 up. Really, really unlucky here. Brilliant turn. Just shot too far wide. Gavin Bazunu then making another save here from Erling Haaland, who ruined my life in this game, but we'll get onto that in a bit. Another brilliant save by Bazunu. He was fantastic in this game. But Diao, who's probably been the main talisman of this episode, put it past Ederson to put us 1-0 up just under 10 minutes before half time. And then Will Holmes scoring an absolutely beautiful goal here. Ederson thought about coming out, hesitated. Holmes took advantage of it. He falls into the net, but as did the ball. And that was 2-0 right in the stroke of half time. Just over 15 minutes to go. I could feel a goal was coming. Haaland then does a Will Holmes and it chips it over Gavin Bazunu, who was having a brilliant game. And I did worry from there that it was probably going to end up being Man City's day. And they did end up getting the equaliser. Defence is an absolute shambles there. Nobody marking him. Clean through. Just all the time and space in the world. And he buried it in for 2-2. Now, I don't think the highlight is here, but maybe if we click on the match recap, it might show us. So that's obviously Man City's second goal. But there was another chance right at the end. That's not in the highlights, but sometimes if you go into the match recap, it might show you the... No, I won't. It's not going to show us. Basically, we had a big chance to win it at the end. Aaron Connolly hit the post. It fell right into the feet of Bouchard, who passed it into the arms of Ederson. So we came so close to beating Man City, but it wasn't to be. Oh, look, it is what it is. The next few games, I'm going to quick sim them all just for the sake of time. Some of them are tough enough games. Some of them are games we probably should be winning. So I'll see you in those ones in a matter of moments. Our strongest team against Brentford, I think they're 16th in the table, so they're quite a bit behind us. So let's see what we can do here against Brentford. We get a 3-1 loss. Oh, for fuck's sake. Rhino with another goal. Mbeumo, former Clone United player, equalised. And Brentford ended up getting the 3 points. Well, that's just fucking fantastic, isn't it? Unbelievable. I think the decision to keep or sell Aaron Connolly has gotten a bit easier because he's just sent us this message. Boss, I've got to be honest with you. I think me not getting games is starting to damage my career. I want to get away and make a fresh start somewhere else. Please let me leave so I can get chances to play. I think it's fair enough. Him and Holmes are the same rating, but Holmes is 6 years younger and he is a lot better. Connolly doesn't want to be a backup. He's done a good job for us though. We wanted to revitalise his career and revive his career. I think we did it for the most part, but yeah, I don't think his future is going to be here at Oxford United, but he's been a great servant. I think we'll happily let him go and wish him well in his future endeavours. I didn't want to risk losing back-to-back games, so I decided to play the highlights of this game. Not even going to show you Costa's miss, because I don't even know why it's included as a highlight. But we did get a penalty kick here. It was originally Jarrett that was on it, but I wanted Will Holmes to get as many goals as he can before the end of the season. He smacked that one in to put us 1-0 up in the first half. And then in the second half, right at the start of the second half, Diao went on a brilliant run. He's been the man of the episode. Squared it for Will Holmes, who buried it past the Leeds keeper. And it was a 2-0 win at Ellen Road. Lovely stuff. So we may not have lost back-to-back games, but we do lose back-to-back home games. Will Holmes gets another brace, but Fulham end up getting a 3-2 win. They're in 16th place. For some reason, we can't seem to beat teams at the bottom of the table in simmed games, but another loss, a late loss as well. Andreas Pereira, former United player, with the late winner there for Fulham. Really, really disappointing result. Here, Aaron Connolly has been sold 14.6 million to Fenerbahce. You know what? I'm quite happy with that. We haven't sold him to a Premier League team or a direct rival. Will Holmes will be the main man up front. We wish Aaron Connolly nothing but the best. Hope he kills it over in Turkey. Thank you for your service. Our bottom of the league. I swear to Jesus, if we lose this game, I'm going to fucking snap. Oh, thank God. 1-0 win. Tyler Goodrum with the goal. Relief. Aston Villa, another annoying game. Will Holmes had the first highlight of the game from the penalty spot. Look at this for accuracy and power and precision. Martinez went the wrong way. Will Holmes smacking that into the top corner, and that gave us the 1-0 lead. Paying homage there to Marcus Rashford with that celebration. There was a save here made by Martinez from Diao, who I thought, you know what, let's have a go. Bit far out, but why not? It was dipping. They have a World Cup winner in goal, which is what stopped it from going in. Wasn't really many highlights after that, but Diaby got one with 10 minutes to go. Clean through. Bazunu came out, lobbed it over him. Been a few of those goals today. 1-1 at Villa Park. Play the highlights of that game against Liverpool, or to record them, I should say. But we did draw 1-1. Will Holmes with the only goal of the game for us, and I think it was Diaz. Yeah, it was Luis Diaz who scored for Liverpool in that game. Fairly evenly matched game. We went with 5 at the back. No team really deserved to win it. A draw probably was a fair result. So yeah, I think that now means we can't finish any higher than 9th, but I don't think we can finish lower than 10th, if memory is serving me correctly. Final game of the season thankfully ends with 3 points and a lovely farewell to a certain few players. We got off to a great start here. Diao with a brilliant run down the left-hand side. He played it into the captain, Jeff Jarrett, who squeezed it in to put us 1-0 up, basically with the first attack of the game. Lovely run, lovely play by Diao. And Jarrett, even on his weaker side, is still able to slot it past Gonzalez. We did put Aaron Connolly in goal, up front, I should say, with it being his last game, and he came up with the goals. He put us 2-0 up. A lovely way to mark his final game in an Oxford United shirt. He will forever be a legend of this club. Gavin Bazunu here, just to show you how well he's done this season again. Brilliant save here. Brilliant reflexes, brilliant reaction time. I think this might be... No, that's just a miss. I thought it was going to be another save from Bazunu there. We'll show you this one as well, though, just before we get into the third goal. Because again, even when he doesn't have an awful lot to do, he still pulls up with some of the big saves. Absolutely love big Gavin goal. But Aaron Connolly then, this is the final thing he did in an Oxford United shirt. We did take him off after this moment. Squeezed it past the keeper, got a brace, put us 3-0 up. Could not think of a better way for him to finish off his Oxford career. Maybe we could have kept him on and gave him the hat-trick, but I wanted him to have that big round of applause from the Oxford faithful right at the end of the game. There was a few chances as well towards the end, but nothing overly massive. And that is the last game of the season. So let's get into the season wrap-up, and we'll talk about some of the plans going forward after that. Who finished the season in 9th place, 82 goals scored, 64 conceded. That is ridiculous. But that's FIFA career mode, or FC24 career mode in a nutshell. 9th place, 54 points. Obviously, we sealed European football with that League Cup win, so we will be in the Europa Conference League next season. Villa finished just below us in 10th. Brighton finished just above us in 8th. Spurs finished 7th, although that won't mean European football because we won the League Cup. Newcastle in 6th, Chelsea 5th, Arsenal 4th, United came 3rd. And Liverpool did unfortunately win the league, the bastards. And United were doing quite well at one stage, so that's really disappointing. Excuse me. But Liverpool do win the league. I mean, we scored quite a few more than they did. I can't do maths quick in my head, but we scored 82, they scored 69. So we got a good few goals more than they did, which is crazy to think. Man City really are the only team who came close to scoring the amount that we did, but we conceded a hell of a lot as well. That was the problem. 64 goals conceded. It's ridiculous. The relegated teams are Wolves, Leicester City and Coventry City, so they will be going back down to the Championship. Let's advance a few days further here and see who won the other competitions. Transfer offer here for Suarez, who's a young player that we called up from the youth academy. No thank you. Also as well, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, Josh Murphy, obviously, who scored the 2 goals for Oxford United in real life in the League One playoff, he has joined Portsmouth in real life, so we have actually sold him here as well. Let me just go into the squad hub here. There he is. He'll be joining Swansea City when the transfer window opens. I kept him for the novelty of the fact that he wrote himself into Oxford United folklore, but now that he's left in real life, I didn't think there was really much point in doing that, or in keeping that going. So he only made 3 appearances this season, did score in the League Cup, only 1 Premier League appearance, so he was just taking up space, but I'm glad we kept him for 1 season in the Premier League. Yeah, look, it is what it is. It is what it is. But let's see here. So, obviously, we know who won the league. Liverpool do the double by winning the FA Cup. They beat Villa in the final. Luton got to the semi-final. Fair play to them. So Liverpool do a double. That makes me feel sick. We obviously won the League Cup. That's a much nicer sight on the screen to look at. Oxford United beating a team who wear blue from London 3-0 in the League Cup final. Just like 1986. You love to see it. PSG won the Super Cup at the start of the season. The Champions League final will be played between PSG and Real Madrid. Europa League final was won by AC Milan. They beat Union Berlin 3-1 on penalties. And the Conference League final is between Brighton and Brøndby. So Brighton, who finished just above us in the league, looking to beat Brøndby. So let's sim in a few days here and see who won those competitions. Nope, not objectives. That's not what I meant to go into. Let's go into standings. So it was Brøndby who beat Brighton in the Europa Conference League final, and the Champions League final was won by PSG. Wow. So Mbappe's former team beat his current team in the Champions League final. Interesting stuff. Right, let's get into the squad statistics. This is one of my favourite parts of the season. Gavin Bazunu, look at that. He's gone a +5 this season. That is incredible. Unbelievable stuff. Top goal scorer, no surprise, Will Holmes, 34 goals in 43 appearances, 29 in 37 in the league, 5 and 6 in the League Cup. He got 11 assists on top of that as well. Diao doing a great job as well, 18 goals in 43 appearances, 15 of them coming in the league, 12 assists on top of that. Rhino had a really good second half of the season when it came to goal scoring. He got 17 goals in 44 appearances, 15 of them coming in the league, 11 assists, all of them coming in the Premier League, and obviously scored in the League Cup final as well, as did Diao. Excuse me. So fair play to them. Aaron Connolly, who we will be letting go of, easy for me to say, did really well though for the games that he played. 16 goals in 28 appearances, 7 and 7 in the League Cup. He was always known for scoring in those cup competitions. He got our only FA Cup goal of the season, and he got 8 Premier League goals in 20 appearances as well, so not too bad. Goodrum, 7 goals and 5 assists. It's not too bad. I'm going to give him another chance. Obviously scored a goal in the League Cup final, so can't complain too much. It's not that I'd look to sell him. The only question I have with Tyler Goodrum is, will he always be the main starter on the right-hand side? That's the question I kind of have to ask myself. I mean, he played 31 games in the league, so we did rest him quite a few times and change things up a little bit with that position. So there was definitely times where I felt like we needed to make a change. But we'll see how it goes in the summer. I'm not going to sell him, absolutely not, because I love having him in the squad. He is a very good player. It's just about, do we bring in someone to give him a bit more competition, because I don't think Duac did it at all really this season. Unfortunately, he was a little bit of a disappointment in the grand scheme of things, but still, Tyler Goodrum, he is here to stay. It's just a case of whether he'll be that starting that right winger I should say. Player on the right hand side is what I'm trying to say. You could probably tell, lads, I'm a bit tired. I stayed up to watch the UFC last night, but I really wanted to get this done, especially before the England game kicks off, which is in 2 hours, which I do want to watch. Jeff Jarrett, the captain, 6 goals this season, all of them coming in the league, 11 assists, 85 rated. He is the leader of this team. Played all the games in the Carabao Cup as well. I think, he only missed 1 game all season, which would have been in the FA Cup, so not too shabby. Dragovic, 2 goals and 4 assists, not too bad. Not great either, but still, I do want to keep on to him. I think he's a very good player to have in the squad. Guzman went up +2 whilst out on loan at Coventry. Kind of wish he played a little bit more. They did get relegated, so hopefully he might play a bit more in the Championship. Jed Spence was really, really happy with him. He was excellent this season. Don't think he missed a single game there looking at those stats. Played every league game, every League Cup game, and came on as a sub in the FA Cup. Got 1 goal as well against Brentford, so fair play to him. Spence got a +3, which is good to see. Bouchard, he has requested to leave. Can't take him off the transfer list, so we're going to have to see what happens there. Murphy, we've already spoke about. Duac, 1 goal and 3 assists. Well, 4 assists in all competitions. We'll address it in the summer. I'm really not too sure about what to do with him. And then as we go down throughout the players here, a lot of them are out on loan. Abbott did finally go up +1. He was on 69 for most of the season, but right at the end he does go up to 70. Some decent growth here from some of the players as well. Some of them are on 2-year loans, some of them are on loan to buys, so they might end up leaving. Matsuda, however you want to say it, +4 since he went out on loan to Stoke. He looks like he could be a player for the future at the back. This backup keeper I'm probably going to sell him, because there's a decent backup goalkeeper that came up on my scout report that we're a little familiar with, so that's something we may have to address. He did play 1 game in the FA Cup. Wasn't really his fault why we lost, but let's just say I'm glad that Bazunu didn't have any injury or suspension issues this season, because I don't think Baye probably would have been able to do the things that Bazunu did. Negru, we didn't even play all season. I could have swore we brought him on in a cup game. I could have swore we brought this guy on in a cup game or something, but apparently not, so we'll probably let him go as well. I think this guy is leaving. He was a youth academy player we just called up to sell. Same with this guy here. Carvajal, I probably should give a bit more game time to. Only played him in 2 games, but he did quite well in those. Again, a couple of loan players leaving here. This Borges guy, though, Gone up +8 when we converted him from a centre midfielder to a cam. We've sent him out on a 2-year loan, so hopefully he can keep growing there. Santana, we're still trying to sell. And that is basically that for the stats. Appearances, Spence did make the most with 46. Bazunu, Flynn and Jarrett with 45. In terms of some of the rotational players, Brannigan made 22 appearances, which isn't too bad. Bloom made 27 appearances. I think especially in the second half of the season, he came in clutch in a lot of moments at the back. Brannigan, as I say, with 22. Dragovic with 22. Maybe that affected his stats as well. A lot of those appearances were substitute appearances. Ball came off the bench a lot as well. 19 appearances. Duac with 18. Moore with 17 appearances, which I'm quite happy with, considering we're probably going to let him go in the summer as well. Uri only played 13 games out on loan at West Ham. Didn't grow an awful lot, so that's a little bit disappointing. Murphy with 3. Carvajal with 2. And I think that is everything. Assists-wise, I know we already kind of went through it, but Diao was the assist leader there. And lads, that will do it for this season. So the first season in the Premier League ends with a trophy and us sealing European football, marking the 40-year anniversary of when Oxford United won the League Cup in real life. I'm very, very happy with that. Objective-wise, we did quite well. We did all the Youth Academy ones. We did the brand exposure one. Didn't have a continental one because we're not in Europe. Domestic success, everything bar the FA Cup. But listen, I think you can forgive us when we won the League Cup and we finished mid-table in the Premier League and avoided relegation. And financially, that has been achieved as well, but they don't tick it off until the end of the season. So whatever. So lads, that will do it for this episode of the Oxford United Road to Glory. The next episode will be the first episode of Season 4, our first season in Europe. I hope you're looking forward to it. Looking forward to making some signings here now in the background and moving some players on. I'm looking forward to discussing it all with you in the next episode. Hope you're enjoying it. Talk to you in the next one. Take care.